Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Trevor Ohlsen Show, episode number 54 on 54, 53, 54. What is it? 54 on Wednesday, April 21st, 2021. I'm your host, Trevor Ohlsen. Good to be here. As always, ladies and gentlemen, what's crackety-lackin'? When I can't feel you, I feel out of touch. 2 seconds without you's like 2 months. Don't wanna close my eyes, I'm scared I'll miss too much. Don't wanna fall asleep, I'd rather fall in love. 'Cause eternity with you ain't long enough. 2 seconds without you's like 2 months. And that's too much. Bieber's new album is out. Crushing it. Shocker. Who would have guessed that he would have had a number one album? Never would have seen that coming. It's like his 88th number one album, I think. 12 billion streams the first day, $100 million made in the first hour, and he's crushing it. No, his album's good. I like it. Like a lot. I've been listening to it a good bit. I also like his live we're recording, right? Oh, yeah. His live tracks. I like his live tracks that he put up on his YouTube channel. They're not really live. They're obviously produced. I think his vocals are live, but they're recorded live, and then he probably did a few takes and stuff like that. So they're not like live. But they sound amazing. He sounds fantastic. He sounds so good right now. I don't know what it is with vocals. If it's just like a mental thing, a confidence thing. But with vocalists, sometimes like it's like you'll just have a good. There's a lot of things that go into having a good gig. It's like you have to be well rested, and you have to be as the least amount possible of stress should be going on, and you should be hydrated. Like there's just a lot of biological factors that go into having a good vocal performance. Like if you're on tour, it's like how many shows are you doing per week? Like are you fatigued? All these different things. And just like any vocalist, I'm just including myself. It's like I just feel like I've had terrible shows where I'm like, wow, I sounded like shit today. And then other gigs, I'm like, wow, nailed it. And so he nailed it in these live performances. It was very cool. Yeah, Justin Bieber live from Paris. I think that's what it's called, something like that. So yes, as his album, I like it. I'll be honest, as the years go on, I just become more and more of a fan. I really do. I do indeed. Which is funny because I think I was in like 2015 or 16. I wrote a song like called "To the Top," and it's a terrible song in my opinion now. Looking back on it, it's horrible. I could be wrong, but I just don't really care for my old stuff back in like 2015, 2016. But it still gets like played a little bit. So if people like it, I suppose I'll leave it up. But I want to take it down if I'm being completely honest. But in that song, I was just like, oh, he sucks. Now, in hindsight, I was definitely just like jealous for sure. But it was also when he was going through his phase when he was like pissing in buckets. Little stressed out at the fact that he's like, what was it? When he's 20, and he's he's got like $1 billion, whole world photographing him every moment. The pressure's a little intense. He's bound to have a little existential angst. So, I don't know, when people don't see how it could be challenging, like, imagine being the most famous person on the planet at 14 and just getting hundreds of millions of dollars all the time, generating billions of dollars, and you are at the center of this massive machine that is, you are now the central, you're keeping the machine going. And if you stop, like, people's livelihoods are now dependent upon you. So it's a big thing. Some people are like, oh, how come he was so upset? And, poor Bieber with his billions of dollars, with his millions of dollars. It's like, I can only imagine. I think Daniel Tosh, has a great little bit about him. It's like, it's something like, listen, if you handed me $100 million at 20 years old, I would walk out into the streets and I would just shit. Like, and basically saying it's like, yeah, like, if Daniel Tosh was in Bieber's position, he would have done whatever he wanted. He would have been way worse. So yeah, I give Bieber massive amounts of credit just because the eyeballs that are on him and the scrutiny and everything. Yeah, you just have to ignore it all. Like, you just have to completely, you have to, stay online, share your stuff, put out what you want to put out, and then just ignore everything else. So anyway, I like his stuff, and yeah, I've been listening to that a good bit. Other big big news going on in the world: Derek Chauvin, that chauvinistic pig, right? Just kidding. Well, not really. What does chauvinistic mean? Chauvinistic. When I can't feel you, I feel out of touch. Feeling or displaying aggressive or exaggerated patriotism, displaying excessive or prejudiced support for one's own cause, group, or sex. It's kind of ironic that his last name is Chauvin. Chauvinistic kind of fits. But yeah, so Chauvin convicted on all charges. A good thing, I would say. It's pretty it's pretty self-evident. You watch that video, the unnecessary force that killed Floyd tragically. Yeah, so that's been big news. I really haven't been following the case, just because focused on other things. And that's something that's out of my control. And I like to focus on things that are in my controllable sphere. And but I'm glad that happened. I'm also glad that happened just for the nation, because I thought if he was to be acquitted or whatever, even if he was charged with manslaughter, I think Minneapolis would have gone up in flames. I told my friends who lived out there, I was like, if it gets bad out here, come on by. Like, come on, you can stay here for a weekend or whatever, a week. Like, but yeah, when I was out there in Minneapolis just a few weeks ago, I went to the courthouse, drove past it, and there was 3 layers of fencing and barbed wire and military and very, very serious. And so I think if the verdict would have gone any other way, people would have been furious, and there would have been, much like there was social unrest throughout the country when he was killed. I think that would have happened all over again, but probably on an even larger scale. So that's good news, I think, for the nation. Sucks to be Derek. More than sucks to be Derek. I probably shouldn't even joke around with him. No, but like, imagine, like, he's the last person on earth I think I'd want to be, because it's like, you get out, you're gonna get killed for sure. At least you're gonna have to go into hiding forever. You're like the most hated person in America at the moment, probably in the world, more so America. And then B, it's like, if you go to prison, you're going there probably forever, and you're probably gonna get killed there too. So, yeah, not good for Derek. Absolutely. Pretty, well, like I said, he's the last dude on earth I'd want to be. It'd be a crazy place to be. Crazy it was, a culmination of recorded tragedies that took place over time, that led to the social unrest. But yeah, so pretty interesting. But again, I also think we need cops, and we need law and order. We need good cops. We need good people. We can't have Chaz in Portland taking over the U.S. of A. Whitmer's trying to shut down Michigan. Oh, Trevor, this is really sort of a news-oriented podcast today. What's going on with her? Like I said, Whitmer, Michigan updates. There we go. Yeah, I turned on the news the other day, and let's see. Michigan's losing the race to the virus. Blasts criticism over visiting sick father in Florida. Traveled outside of Michigan to visit ill father. Okay, well, listen. I turned on the news the other day. Hadn't watched it in quite a bit, and Whitmer's on there. I don't know if I talked about this on Saturday. If I did, you're hearing it again. If you're on Patreon, sign up on Patreon today. She was she comes on the news and she goes, "It's time we start getting really serious. We got to start taking this thing seriously because the numbers in Michigan have gone up drastically. It's the worst in the nation right now. But as far as I'm understanding, with my scientific background, anecdotally, the numbers have, yes, increased, but the number of deaths are way down. That's what I'm hearing. Don't know. I'm not going to fact check it. I'm not going to fact check it. You can fact check it. But just for her to have the balls to come out and be like, we need to take things seriously. We need to start getting serious. I was just like, fuck off. Like, yeah, I am not a conspiracy theorist, and I think COVID is real. I had COVID. I shouldn't even have to say that. But it's like, we have to open up everything. This country has to open back up. And it's like, if people are scared, they can stay home. But for the people who want to go out and resume the freedoms that they once had, and if they have to wear a mask, that's fine. Just open things up, and you can you walk in with a mask, and then when you sit down at the restaurant, you take it off, so it defeats the purpose anyway. So stupid. There's so much illogicality that goes with the masks. Doesn't make any sense. It's like, if we're doing masks, we're doing them 24/7. When we're outside our home, let's say. It's like, you're doing them and you're not having them beneath your nose, and you never take them off the whole day. That's the only way it would maybe kind of work from my understanding. But it's so silly. It's like, well, you got to walk into a restaurant and wear the mask, but then when you sit down, you can take it off to eat. But then if you got to go to the bathroom, you put it back on. And it's like when I was in New Orleans. You're looking in all these open bars, and you can see hundreds of people in these clubs, and no one has a mask on. But they will not let you in unless you're wearing a mask. And so you toss on your mask, you walk in, and then you take one step through the door and you go, whoop. It was like, didn't make any sense. It's all just legal. It's just all bullshit, in my opinion. I'm not saying, again, the virus isn't real. I don't have to say that. I don't even want to talk about the virus. I don't want to talk about it. Why am I talking about it? I guess just because Whitmer, oh, we really need to start getting serious. And she goes to Florida to visit her ill father, which I think she should have the right to do. And I think everybody has the right to do that. All right, let's not get serious with this podcast. Fuck that. I also just finished. I watched Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich, on Netflix. A well-done documentary series. I hadn't really followed any of that. I had heard his name many times, just in the podcast world, on many different podcasts. He was a topic of conversation, obviously, and yeah. I mean, it was a well-done documentary. I'm definitely much more informed. Crazy how this dude just from the get-go was just a bad dude. As far as all the wealth that he accrued over time, he did it all illegally. He manipulated everybody. He stole it. He stole $46 million from the dude who owned Victoria's Secret and all these other businesses. He was very, very intelligent, but that doesn't mean that you are a good person. A lot of people think that, and I used to as well, up until recently, that if you're intelligent, you'll do the right thing. But actually, if you're intelligent and you're just a bad person, or you've chosen to go down that route, it just makes you all the more dangerous. So that's a great example. Epstein's a great example of that. As far as, he was very intelligent, he was very charismatic, he was good looking. If you're good looking, you can get away with shit. It's like Ted Bundy. It's like nobody suspected him because he was articulate and good looking. Same with Epstein. Once you got to see his true character, you steered clear of him, to say the least. But it's just interesting how you can get away with shit when you're good looking. Just like that model dude. There's a great little article that I read. It was called, what was it? The Unfairness of Hot, The Unfairness of Being Hot by Mark Manson, something like that. Do you guys remember that dude who got arrested, who was in a gang, who had that like teardrop on his face? He was a beautiful man. They snapped his picture and it went viral online, and now he's just this model. There's a perfect example of the unfairness of beauty. Let's see if I can find it. Unfairness of Being Hot, Mark Manson. Something like that. Come on, where is it? I'll go to his website. Mark Manson. Maker Manson. That's just what I typed in twice. Mark Manson. Yeah, the unfairness. Life advice that doesn't suck. I'm definitely a fan of his. Okay, let's look. I want to search his website. Come on now. Come on, baby. Come on, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Articles. Complete archive. There we go. Search. Hotness. Let's see if it comes up. Come on. Why isn't it popping up? Unfair. I read it from him. Unfairness of being hot. Yay, nay? What the hell? What is going on? What the heck? What the heck, guys? Mark Manson. I don't see it. I don't see it. Never mind. But he wrote a great little article, which apparently no longer exists. Just kind of detailing how it was in his newsletter that I sign up for that I receive every Monday. He's one of the main reasons why I started doing the Monday morning message, which if you're interested in receiving, you can go to trevorolsen.com/ I don't know, just type in Trevor Ohlsen newsletter sign up. It'll pop up. But where was I going with all of that? Jeffrey Epstein. Yes. He just from the get-go, he lied on his resume to become, I think he was a teacher. If I'm remembering correctly, he was I don't know, he taught at some sort of prestigious school, and he just lied. He just totally made up he went to college for 1 year. I think it was 1 year, and he didn't get a degree. And then he was just like, fuck it, I'll just pretend. And he did that. And he just kind of pretended his way through life. And then through nefarious means, he began to corrupt people and blackmail people. And he acquired billions of dollars, which is crazy. Talk about a go-getter in a very negative way. A very negative go-getter. Yeah. It was quite interesting to see. And then, I hadn't looked into the whole, Epstein didn't kill himself thing. As I'm sure most of you remember, that was a big thing. Like, Epstein didn't kill himself. Everybody was saying that after just randomly at the end of like normal posts on Instagram. But so he, of course, maybe he was murdered with his huge cell roommate, and I think his lower mandible was broken. And they said that doesn't happen when you hang yourself, or rarely happens. I could be wrong. If like his mandible, if that's what was broken. But he signed he made a will, or he finished his will 2 days before he died. So that to me was like, oh, he knew he was going to die. Or he knew he was going to kill himself. Something like that. Maybe it could have been like, well, I'm really in a pinch now. Can't skedaddle my way out of this one, because he totally did that for a decade. He owned the police department. He was such a mass manipulator, and he had so much power and so much wealth, and he really did. He used it all to his advantage, just from a power standpoint. And so, but 2 days before he died, he signed his will, and basically they said it was like one big final fuck you to the victims, because obviously the victims are looking for, or at least their attorneys are looking for, financial compensation. Jeffrey Epstein did these horrible things to these women. These women deserve to be compensated. Jeffrey Epstein is a billionaire. Boom, let's get these ladies some money. I agree. They should get some money. but then he did something in his will where he essentially tied up his finances, or he I don't know, he what? I am giving my estate to XYZ. I think he gave it to his brother. I might be wrong with that too. But it was $577 million. A little bit of money. 577 mil. Let's say his brother, because I'm going to say I remember. And so that is going to make it much more difficult for the victims to get financial compensation. So it was an interesting documentary. It's pretty gross as far as this old dude and young, kids, like 14, 15, 16-year-olds. It's one thing if you're, well, even, because some of the victims were in their 20s, and in my head I was like, oh, well, but they're of age, but then they went and, it wasn't consensual, so I was like, oh, okay. So he was horrible. He was raping people and raping women, and and it was such a gross amount of women. It was just like hundreds over the years. And he was just very good at spotting their weaknesses. A lot of these women were living on the streets, like runaway. A lot of them were runaways, like kids who were running away from home because they had a terrible home life, or they had an abusive stepfather, whatever may be going on, and they're on the streets. They might have a drug problem, and they hear that they can make a couple $100 of easy money massaging this old dude, in Palm Beach, Florida. And Epstein, again, so manipulative, but he was wise in the sense that he would wise in his own eyes. He would get these girls to bring all their friends, and and he would just give everyone $200. Like, here's $200, and oh my God, $200 to a 15-year-old who's just run away from home. That's a lot of money, and that's a big deal. And a lot of these victims would just keep coming back, which is, it's really sad because, okay, my God, you don't know what's going on at 15. If you're a 15-year-old, especially just as a 15-year-old woman, vulnerable to this older, brilliant, manipulative man, brilliant in the sense that he can take over control in the conversation. He's very manipulative. How many times have I said it? So it was a good documentary, but yeah, just also very, again, there's just so much terrible shit always going on in the world, but we gotta stay positive, guys. Stay positive. No, it's important. You should know what's going on in the world to a certain degree. I'm amazed at people who are hyper informed of so much that's going on throughout the world. They just have a really good comprehensive understanding of most things happening. I don't. I told my sister the other day, all these brilliant, smart people I listen to, if they've made me realize one thing, they've made me realize that I'm a fucking idiot in comparison. But that's okay. I'm not an intellect. I'm not an intellectual. I'm striving for a more comprehensive understanding of life and of knowledge and of all these things. And I think I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say negative things about myself. But, just when you hear, these brilliant people who are just really smart from a really young age, you go, oh man, okay. You guys are really fucking smart. Like, better at least hear what they have to say. I'm trying to read, I should try harder. I'm trying to read Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil. And I've listened to maybe an hour of it, not even half hour of it, 45 minutes of it. I have gotten nothing out of it. Because it's like I'm listening and it just goes in one ear and it goes out the other, and I comprehend none of it. And I showed Allie, my sister, some of it too. I was like, just try to listen to this for a minute. And fortunately, I didn't feel too. Fortunately, she struggled to understand as well. So it made me feel okay. Yeah. But if she would have been like, oh yeah, that's really easy to understand, Trevor, I'd be like, oh shit. It's just me. But it's good to, I think Mark Manson really kind of nailed, and Mark Manson was on Jordan Peterson's podcast, and they talked about how maybe one of the reasons why Manson's book, Subtle Art, was so successful was that he's writing it in the zone of proximal development, meaning the average person can understand it, but it's still maybe slightly intellectually challenging. Maybe. But there's also a lot of humor thrown into it as well. And he says fuck a billion times. It's in the title. So, but then you listen to, or you read Peterson's books. What's interesting that I find with Jordan Peterson is I can listen to him lecture all day and really never get bored with it. I can listen to him for hours and hours and hours. And he's such a good speaker. He's so interesting. But then when he's reading his book, Beyond Order or 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos, I struggle more with those books because they're much more, I don't know if it's just that when he's reading them, you lose a sense of the performance aspect of it, because when he's on stage, it's like he's improvising. He's almost like a comic or an entertainer, like an intellectual intellectual comic speaker. And so when it's his book, it's more rigid, and he's just reading. And I have a harder time understanding it. I don't know why, but I can listen to him lecture all day, never get bored with it. But then when I try to listen to his book, I really, really have to focus and pay a lot more attention, which is probably, I'm sure it's a good thing. I'm sure it's a good thing to be paying attention. So, but yeah. I'm re-listening to one of his lectures, which I think is brilliant. It's his analysis of Pinocchio, and I think he just does such an excellent job of he goes so far beneath the surface, because you can watch Pinocchio and you'll understand it, and it'll make sense to you. The average person will just look at it. It's a great story. It's lasted. But then Jordan Peterson he literally goes through every scene. And the underlying symbolism and all these different messages that are trying to be portrayed through each scene, and how nothing is accidental. It's just really, really great, in my opinion. I think it's excellent. I've listened to it's a 3-part lecture series, and each part is roughly 2 to 2.5 hours. And I mean, I've listened to this is my second time listening to it, so it takes like 6 hours, a little more, to listen to it all. And I can listen to it like that. Like, that's how good it is. That's how good he is. And it's fascinating. So I've really been enjoying that. And so a little bit what? It's been a good week. Things are going well. I mentioned this on my on the Patreon episode, but I'm now working at I have a job now. What the fuck, Trevor? No, I'm working for the man. No, I am at Anytime Fitness now, doing some personal training, which is cool. Just briefly, something I've thought of since I was like 18. And with music being on hold, the owners, I really like them. I really like my friends who are working there as well. And so I was like, and they wanted me to work there. I was like, why not? Why would I pass? It'd be foolish of me to pass up this opportunity. And I was at my friend Kevin Chown's house last night, and he congratulated me on the gig, and I was like, oh, thanks, man. And he, and I was just, there's something about like if as an entertainer, and I've had a bunch of different jobs throughout the years, just jobs here and there, and then my main focus has always been music. And I would say my main focus still is music. It just doesn't really feel like it because because live shows are kind of weird still. It feels like, oh man, almost like you're giving up. But that's not the way I'm trying to approach it. There's a part of my brain, and I think it's like the prideful part of like, you're better. You don't need a job. right now. Just keep doing your music, man. And I'm like, well, I should probably be, I can make some good money. But more than that, it's like, I actually would like to do this. And so I think one of the best lessons I learned last year was this idea that to not get too attached to one version of your identity. And to remember that you as an individual and me as an individual, we're malleable. And so, when I was younger, if I had to say an intro to myself, I'd be like, American singer-songwriter Trevor Ohlsen. And now it's been like American singer-songwriter, producer, podcaster Trevor Ohlsen. And now it could be like American singer-songwriter, producer, podcaster, personal trainer Trevor Ohlsen. So I'm just trying to, like, in my own head, it's not like, hi, I should start introducing myself to people like that. Hi, I'm an American singer. Hi, hello, I'm American singer-songwriter, producer, podcaster, personal trainer Trevor Ohlsen. How are you doing? Hi. But there's a part of my brain that's like, no, don't do it. But then there's a bigger part that's like, hey, like, drop the ego. This is the best opportunity you have right now. It's an opportunity to grow as a person, to grow social skills, to grow personal trainer skills, obviously. It's like a good opportunity. Take it. So I did. And I'm glad. It's been great. I'm only 3 weeks in. But it's gone really well. I've really enjoyed it. So that's good. So if you're looking I've had a lot of people message me over the years and be like, what? Like they're kind of serious. They're like, you should be my personal trainer. And I'm like, I'm writing music. What do you want me to do? No. But now technically I can be your personal trainer. So if you're interested, just start using this podcast platform. I got fucking 50 of you out there listening sometimes. Thank you, by the way. To promote my personal training. But no, if you're in the area, you want me to put you through a workout, I can do that. We'll get you on the schedule. I haven't even really technically started until I think I'm going to be taking over clients at the beginning of May. March, April, May. Yes, May. I always get March and May mixed up in my brain because it's 2 MAs. All right, folks, we're at the end of the podcast. We're actually a couple minutes over. Actually, I don't know. I don't know. Is this a 30-minute show or is it an hour show? I couldn't tell you. I have to continue to do a script. I have to memorize a script. Only for if I have to do some like qualifying sales stuff. So comes along, maybe I'll keep talking. Comes along with the territory of it's just like if you say you want to be a singer, you can't just be a singer. Or maybe it's not wise to just be a singer. You have to be a businessman or a businesswoman, and you have to know the in and outs of what's going on. You have to understand how the game works. I recommend having a good understanding of the business itself, of finances, of how to write, of how to perform, of how to, like, all these different things. So it's like when you become just a personal trainer, it's like, yes, you are going to be a personal trainer, but also you have to know how to qualify people, and you have to understand that, I lost the video. Are you shitting in my mouth? What happened? What? Hold on. The video isn't even there. Are you kidding me? Well, that's lovely. That's never happened. What the fuck? Hold on, maybe it'll load up. If it's not, yeah, wow, that's weird. Oh, no, it's there. Okay, good. We're good. Jeez. I thought the video just shut off, as you're clearly now seeing, because you're probably just seeing the logo now in the video if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're just on Spotify, nothing's changed. But this happens every damn episode. I need to get a separate camera for filming so that this shit doesn't happen. But anyway, I was saying, it's like, you become a personal trainer. You're not going to be just a personal trainer. It's like you have to understand the business, and again, the sale aspect, selling and stuff like that. Sales. It's always good to have a background in sales. But well, I suppose with the video going up, taking a shit. I'll wrap this up. So, thanks as always for listening. If you'd like to reach out to the show, I'd love to hear from you. The Trevor Ohlsen Show at gmail.com. And then, of course, if you enjoy this podcast that comes out every Wednesday for free on YouTube, on Spotify, it also comes out every week on Saturday as well. And so, Saturday on Patreon exclusively. So you can go to patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. That's patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. Patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. Or just go to Patreon. Type my name in. TREVOROHLSEN. Don't forget the H. And you will stumble upon me. And you can sign up for as little as $500 a day. So it's very affordable. With the low price, with a discount of 1 penny, so you can sign up for $499.99 per day. Yes, go check it out, patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. Spend your hard-earned money on me, and we'll keep moving forward together. All right, friends, keep doing your thing. Thanks so much, as always. Keep moving forward, and we'll see all of you on Saturday.